second is bioengineering, third is engineering design, fourth is art and humanities, fifth is applied science, and the sixth one is life skills, repair, maintenance, and safety. And under this ILOCs or institute level specializations, minimum one specializations everyone needs to complete. And you have choice. You can take any of these specializations, and right from same six. So in same six, there will be one bioengineering ILOC, same seven, there will be one, and then same eight, there will be one. Fifth is applied science. So the ILOCs which we are going to offer from same six and safety. So we have planned this orientation, and under this ILOCs or institute level specialization orientation on this minimum one specializations everyone needs to offer from same six. And you have choice. So I am Professor Dhanraj, take any of these specializations, mechanical engineering department. Right from same talking about the product design. So in same six there will be one bioengineering design ILOC, and there are other ILOCs which will be one. Fifth is applied science. The ILOCs which we are going. Dr. Avinash Vaidya, Dr. Divya Padmanabhan, Dr. Mahendra Khankar, Dr. There is Arun Pillai. So everyone is going to talk about these ILOCs. So let me start, or let me share my screen about the product design. I hope this product design syllabus is visible to you. So as I mentioned that product design, this one of the institute level electives which comes under engineering design. Now when we talk about the product design, now it's going to be a physical product design, not the the goods, not the services like IT product. So in this this course is going to be for 3 credits, and course code you can see IL 363. So there are 3 different course objectives and 6 different course outcomes. So in this particular course, you would be learning the design and development process of any product. Then you would be learning the different design factors. Could be the aesthetic factors, or could be the ergonomic considerations or ergonomic factors. Then certain considerations in design, like design for manufacturing, design for assembly, design for environment, design for reliability. So those different aspects you are also going to learn. Then there are different methods, different techniques and tools which are going to be which are required to design any product. So there are different techniques and tools are there, and that also is one of the the course outcomes. And then as per the industry and the societal requirement, one will be able to design the product. And then the last course outcomes would be to be aware about the the economics of the product, the legal and social issues, and then some portion on the IP acts. So in the first module, as I mentioned that it's the definition of the product, like what is product, the product life cycle. There are different stages of product life cycle. Then you will be learning the different the design stages, product design stages, right from ideation to the the product ramping and the production. Then different quality dimensions like the performance, features, aesthetics, ergonomics. So that all initial part of the product design you would be learning in the module 1. Then in the module 2, you would be learning the design factors. As I mentioned, the different factors like ergonomics, anthropometry, comfort, physical, the psychological factors. So all those factors you would be learning in module 2. Apart from this, there are different methods of the material selection and the process selection. Let's say AHP, the analytical hierarchical process, or fuzzy approach. That means if given 3 different materials, which material is the the better one or the advisable one, or given 3 different the process to manufacture, which process would be the better one. So that material selection and process selection is there in the module 2. As far as module 3 is concerned, there are different design considerations. As I mentioned, that design for manufacturing, design for assembly, so that whatever you design, it should be manufacturable. Whatever you design, it should be assembled. Whatever you design, it should be it should not affect the environment. So that is called as the design for environment, or design for reliability or maintainability. That means whatever product you have designed, it should be maintainable. Then there are different optimization techniques like the design for robotness. So in the robotness or robust design, we have Taguchi design and the design of experiment. So those design considerations you will be learning in module 3. Then in the module 4, design tools and techniques. When you, for example, let's say you want to design a fan. So what are those different factors you should consider? There are different controllable factors and the uncontrollable factors. So if I talk about the control factors, maybe the number of blades, the twist angle, the motor. So there are the controllable factors which designer has in its control. But there are certain uncontrollable factors. Let's say you do not know the customer or the consumer is going to install a fan at what height. So that are called as the noise factor or the uncontrollable factors. So what is the objective of the design? The effect of this uncontrollable factor should be minimum on the outcome of the product. Outcome now, in this case, the fan, the air circulation is the outcome, or the response of the fan is the air circulation. So all these the controllable factors and uncontrollable factors are to be considered. And there are different tools and techniques, as I said, value engineering or value analysis. Okay, so your objective or the designer objective is to increase the value. So value is given by, in this case, the function upon cost. The air circulation, increase the function, that means some features which are beneficial to the customer. So if you improve the functions, definitely the value of the product would increase. Or if you decrease the cost, definitely the value of the product would be increased. So value is given by function upon cost. So your designer is, he can play with the function and the cost, but of course not at the not compromising the quality of the product. So you have to have some optimum design. So this is given in value engineering or value analysis. Then there are different other techniques like quality function deployment, FMEA, reverse engineering, concurrent engineering. So these are the different techniques and tools which you would be learning in product design tools and techniques module, that is module number 4. Then in the module number 5, because once you design the product, before you actually manufacture it, you have to test it. You have to do the prototyping or the model of the product. So this prototyping, or let's say the working model, we can we can make or we can fabricate with the help of different manufacturing techniques. So one of the very known or the popular technique is rapid prototyping, and nowadays we can call it as the 3D printing or additive manufacturing. So in this particular module, you have different manufacturing 3D printing processes like stereolithography, the FDM, selective laser sintering, and so many other methods you would be learning in the product development cycle. And then there are different other approaches like assembly modeling, top down approach, bottom up approach, and so on and so forth. So the different prototyping methods that would be taught in module 5. Then the last module, you have the economics of the product, because finally it is economics. Whatever we produce, it should be economical. So there are, let's say you are given two different product A and product B. So which product is better or which is economical one? So there are different, the engineering economic principles, and under this, the time value of money. Time value of money is, let's say today it's 100 rupees. After 1 year, how much it is going to be? So there are different methods. Let's say net present value method, internal rate of return method, or payback period method. So with the help of this method, we can evaluate the given product, say product A, B, C, and then which one is more economical. Accordingly, we have to select that product for the development. And in the same module, you also have some legal and social issues, the patents, IP Act. So, but that is the introduction, because you have full-fledged this subject on IP and patents. So here it will be just because since it's a product design, one should know that what is patenting, what are the IP Acts, and what are the legal and social issues. So your entire product design subject, it is divided into 6 different modules, as I said, and there are six different outcomes, course outcomes. As usual, there is an internal assessment, but there is not going to be any test IA1, IA2. There is going to be a project on this, some mini project. You would be given a product, some product, and right from its ideation to the prototyping, maybe in a group of students, you can design and develop the product. And there is going to be an internal end same examination of 60 marks. There are good books available. You can read from the syllabus. You can, and these books are also available in the in our library. So this is all about in brief product design. If you have any query, you can ask me now, or you may contact me later in college. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tambuskar sir, for giving a brief idea about the product design. Now I request Arun sir to give presentation on entrepreneurship. Arun sir.
Yeah, good morning, Yogesh. Is it clear, audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. Yogesh, I just send you the presentation because I'm traveling now. Could you just put the presentation, or Avinash sir has it on entrepreneurship? No? We just
Okay,
come
sir.
with the presentation.
Shall I do it, sir?
Yeah, please. Thank you, sir.
Just once.
Pleasure. Yeah, good morning, friends. I think entrepreneurship, your entrepreneurship development management, we call it as entrepreneurship now, is more than a subject. It's a feeling what you carry. Any person who dreams to be an entrepreneur should definitely go on to this line, because we are continuing with IPR, patenting, then your digital business marketing and those kind of things. What you basically need when you dream to be an entrepreneur, that is how this orientation happens to be. The whole subject line of subjects have come up here. I'm not the marking scheme, the exams, all this do not matter when it comes to an entrepreneur, because it is a flair what you follow. It is an insight. Somewhere you must be having a feeling, I have to become an entrepreneur, or I have to be a job giver than a job seeker at some point of the time. It cannot be today you want to be an entrepreneur. Say it can be after 2 years of working, you want to become an entrepreneur. After 5 years of working, you want to become an entrepreneur, or after 8 years. And they say KFC was started at the age of 75 by him. So like that, and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship basically means you start your own way of doing things with an intention. You make money, you give jobs, you have to be creative. What basically entrepreneurship? It's a buzzword nowadays. That is what we try to do here. The whole course will be oriented in that way, and it is not I cannot be an entrepreneur or somebody cannot be an entrepreneur there. Entrepreneurships can happen at any point of time to anyone. If you would see these big companies what have come up, Fahad Nasirwala is from Navi Mumbai itself. These big companies, the highest paid things on Google, Apex Infosystems, Rocksha, the biggest digital marketing company. These have come from school students. So the fear of entrepreneurship, I may succeed, I may fail. There are different parameters you need to mention, you need to calculate. That is basically defined in this courses what we do. Now, basically what worries you have normally when you say you want to be an entrepreneur, there's a big concern is how much money should I invest, or how much time should I invest. You have basically a lot of confidence needed to do. This is the idea what I'm working on. This is a solution what I'm working on. I would be a definite successful here. So that kind of confidence should come into you. That confidence you don't have, then please go in for the course if you're very interested and all. There is a basic way of learning things. There are basic way of doing things. Even entrepreneurship happens to be that way. There are certain basics what you need to follow. When your basics are not right, when your things are not right, you don't start the company. When all your basics are right, you're meeting all your parameters, you can definitely start the company then. People don't go for entrepreneurship because they lack confidence somewhere. Finance, I come from a very poor family. I come from a medium family. My parents would be more interested for me to go and work, something like that. Those aspects fear you. What if I fail? What if I don't do well? Then you would find a lot of your friends who go to companies, they immediately start with a package of 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, something like that. Then your family keeps on pressurizing you. So all these aspects you have to leave, or how do you manage it out? These are the basic things what we cover in the course there. Then basically the parameters what are needed for an entrepreneur. So just one slide back. We don't go to what all do you need as an entrepreneur? Basically, your innovation, your knowledge, the business, your risk tolerance, leadership, team. So those parameters is what we cover in these 4 to 5 courses there, of entrepreneurship. And IPR and patenting would be covered. Again, there's an orientation for IPR and patenting. Please don't be bothered for the syllabus, the IAs, and all those things. Because I said entrepreneurship is more of an oriented kind of thing where you are really focused. I want to be an entrepreneur, then what should I do? These aspects there. I'm not concerned that this is the IA mark, this is a term work mark. For marks, you have got many other things to be done, better things to be done there. Okay. Please be outside the scope of marks. Be within the, try to see that in case you are very interested, please go in for this course. I think either me, Joshi sir, would be conducting the course, or somebody else, means some experienced person of entrepreneurship would be conducting the course. And I am not very this thing. It is not that marks and all those. Not. In case you are really passionate for entrepreneurship, please go in for that course there. The topics would be basically orienting you to how to handle it out, how to plan your idea. From your idea, you go on to the realization of the idea. From the realization of the idea to what all governmental parameters you need to check. How do you make your registrations? How do you make arrangement of funds? How do you seek investors? Then how do you make it into a reality? How do you make your dream into a reality? That is what the whole course is all about. And from there, you start going into the next phase. Do I need to take a patent? Do I need to take licenses, permissions? Then the next phase happens to be how do I promote my idea, business marketing, developments, those aspects it is covered here. So I hope so you can choose from among yourselves. Maybe in case you have got any doubts, the third year people, when you come for your exams, you can come to the college and get it clarified there also. And it is irrespective of the branches. Any branches can go in for automobile, mechanical, computer, IT. The easiest of companies to start is always computer and IT. There. So any of these branches can go in for entrepreneurship. Thank you. Over to you, Yogesh sir.
Thank you, Arun sir, for giving a brief idea about the entrepreneurship. And now I request Dr. Avinash Vaidya sir to give presentation.
Hello, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Just a second.
हेलो नहीं अरे मैं मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहा हूँ रुकना
Sorry, Arun sir, your microphone is on.
करने चालू क्या मैं जा रहा हूँ अभी चल
Okay, good morning students. I am here to present institute level optional courses group 6 which we are offering to you. You will not find many universities or many colleges offering this kind of courses as institute level electives, but we want to offer courses which will be useful for students when they graduate. So this particular group is group 6 which is named as life skills, repair, maintenance and safety. So all these factors are very important as far as you go ahead in your career. Semester wise courses in this particular specialization or ILOC vertical, there are 6 courses which are being offered. Semester 6 you will learn vehicle safety or maintenance of electronics equipment. You can choose any one of these in semester 6. Similarly for semester 7, maintenance of mechanical equipment and cooking and nutrition. Semester 8, there would be physical education or environmental management. So all the subjects carry 3 credits. You have to complete 9 credits out of this. So that means that at least one subject you should choose from group of 2 subjects in a particular semester. So I'm not going to orient you for all the subjects. I'm just giving you orientation for the maintenance of electronics equipment. This is not a theory subject. This is all lab-based subject. There would be maybe very less or maybe 5 to 6 lectures which would be conducted, and the rest of the things would be lab based. So you can see here lab objectives and lab outcomes. At the end of this course, outcome would be you will be able to demonstrate the different types of hand tools which we require in our daily life. Understanding and testing of different active and passive components mounted on the PCB. So that is on the electronics side. Understanding TTL and CMOS digital IC tester. This is needed. Demonstrate computer assembling, troubleshooting, and software installation, because we get everything ready-made, everything installed, and there are very less experiments or exposure to software installation or how to troubleshoot a computer if it is not working, how to troubleshoot a laptop if it is not working. So all those things you are going to learn this in this particular course. Understand concepts of circuit diagrams of LED, LCD, TV, DTH, and mobile phone troubleshooting. So all these are important. We get these problems in our daily lives, and we have to run to some shops and get all those things repaired or get all those things corrected at our places. Understand concept of medical equipments. So this point is added because many things we do not know how medical equipments work and what the display shows and what is significance of what is meaning of all those displays and everything which is there in medical field. So this also we are going to understand in this course. So this is detailed syllabus. It is also available on our website. We're not going to conduct all these 15 experiments, but at least 9 to 10 lab sessions we are going to conduct. So it's not a conventional 2 hours lab session per week or so. So you can find that there is 2 hours lab session, 4-hour lab session, and at the end we are planning a visit to medical equipment industry or laboratory, which will be a one-day industry visit during your 6th semester. Okay. There will be not much theory assessments. There will be only 2 internal assessments, and mainly like if it is 100 marks or 80 marks, then 20 average 20 internal assessment, and internal term work will be of 30 marks, and final there will be a practical examination of 30 marks as far as this subject is concerned. You can go through the reference books and textbooks which are available widely. You can download these books and see what contents in those books. So main book is Troubleshooting and Maintenance of Electronics Equipment by Sudeep K. Singh, Catson book, New Delhi, that is reprinted in 2014. And there are many data books which are available, data sheets which are available, which we are going to refer for this subject. Okay, so that's it from my side. You can contact me on my email ID if you have any queries about this particular subject. And please remember that after you choose this particular vertical, you have to complete at least 3 courses from this, 1 each semester. That means you have to earn 9 credits, and this is applicable to all the verticals which are being presented today. So thank you very much. If you have any queries, please contact me on my email ID.
Thank you, Avinash sir, for giving a detailed idea about the maintenance of electronics equipment. Now I request Dr. P.S. Lokhande sir to give presentation on IPR and patenting. Over to Dr. Lokhande sir.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm just starting my presentation. Okay, whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay. Good morning, all. So today I'm going to, my name is Dr. Prashant Lokhande. So I'm head training and placement. So I'm going to present and give the insight about the subject IPR and patenting. So what exactly the IPR is? So IPR stands intellectual property rights. Like we hold different properties, maybe your car, maybe your house, maybe your flat. But what about the idea that is in your mind? What about the thing that you wrote on a piece of paper? It may be a poem, it may be a story. So if someone is infringing or someone is stealing that particular thing, then what is the remedy? So here we are going to see the intellectual property rights. First of all, before starting with this, we'll understand why we need to study the IPR. So what is the benefit of studying the IPR? The first is to understand the intellectual property, right protection system, what exactly it is working, to promote the knowledge, and to get acquainted with the patent search, patent filing, and what exactly the patent is and what are the different types of IPR. Now, how the knowledge of this IPR is useful for me. मेरे लिए क्या रखा है इसमें? So this is the subject which is going to give you the career. Now, end of your engineering, you are going to get the job, but this subject alone is capable to give you the career, to give you the job in a particular industry. The moment you are putting in your CV that you have knowledge of IPR, any product company, any manufacturing company, they will prefer the candidate who all are having the knowledge of IPR. So just wanted to give some insight. A patent advisor, he is earning 1 lakh to 10 lakh per month. A patent agent, they are charging freelancing. If you are freelancing working as a patent agent, they are charging 50K to 80K to draft and file the patent. That's it. So you can work as a freelancing patent agent and advisor apart from your other job or any other assignment. You can join the government job in the patents department. You can work as a consultant for the industry or the colleges. And last not least, but your awareness of the patent knowledge can help build stronger India. How this will be like helpful to build a stronger India. Now, before that, just how these people, they are ruling us, the China, the America, the European companies, they are ruling because they just file the patent on the design, idea, procedure, formula, whatever they already know. Medicine, so we cannot manufacture the many medicines, though we have capability, though we have raw material, but we need to pay the huge royalty to all the multinational companies. So this is one like representative graph, like table, but this may be old. So you can see the rank of the country in terms of the economy. So you can see the China is on number 1, and clearly they are number 1 because they filed maximum number of patents. Their economy is like on high. Second highest economy is the United States, then Japan, then South Korea, and we are on the 7th place. And we only filed 42,000. This is the old data. So new one is still, we are still there in 7th and 8th position. Okay, now one more thing. Now there are a number of inventors. Now this inventor, Kia Silverbrook, he is from the Australia and he filed 4,669 patents. तो इससे क्या होगा? Now you can check his net worth. सो आईपी जैसे आपकी प्रॉपर्टी जमीन फ्लैट है जिसका वैल्यू होता है, वैसे ही आपके पेटेंट, आपका जो भी आईपी है उसकी वैल्यू होती है. सो दिस इज व्हाट हिज नेटवर्थ इज देयर. सो नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन द like subject. So this is what the background why we need to study IPR and patenting and how this knowledge of IPR and patenting is useful for us. So objective that we like the object is given in the subject. First of all, to understand the intellectual property, right? Promote the knowledge. Then to get acquainted with patent search, patent filing procedure and application. Now, at the end of the syllabus or at the end of this course, what you are going to get, the outcome. You will understand the intellectual property assets. So what are the types? What are the like different types are there? Who can claim for that? Assist the individual and organization in capacity building. Work for development, promotion, protection, compliance, and enforcement of the intellectual property right and patenting. So at the end of this syllabus, you will be able to file the patent. You are able to file the copyright. You are able to distinguish between the various IPR components. And also you are able to give the patent agent examination. No extra study is required. This syllabus is capable of to cater all the requirement which is required for the patent agent examination. So about the syllabus, So this syllabus consists of 6 chapters. The first chapter is dealing with the introductory part. So meaning of various IPR, then various different categories of IPR instruments like patent, trademark, copyright, industrial design, plant variety, all these things. Then importance. And the second chapter is dealing with enforcement of intellectual property right. So enforcement means, let us consider someone, you write one story or a thesis and someone copied your thesis. Now how you are going to file the litigation, how you are going to file the litigation for that purpose. So this is what are the procedures, what are the ways for that. So it will be covered into the enforcement of intellectual property right. So now Indian scenario, introduction, history, and all this thing will be covered over there. It's very easy and story like of chapter. The chapter third is dealing with emerging issues in IPR. So various challenges in the like intellectual property rights in digital economy, e-commerce, human genome, biodiversity, and how to deal with that. And fourth chapter is directly dealing with basics of patent. So how the patent is drafted, definition, conditions of patentability, which thing can be patentable. Let us consider I am like working on any design of a gear, and I design a particular gear and a combination of pinion wheel and other wheel, and then it is giving me certain like improvement into the efficiency, then whether it can be patentable or not. So this particular topic will, this particular chapter will explain what are the things are there which can be patentable and what are the things that are non-patentable. Type of patent applications, the process of patent and product patent, precaution while patenting, while writing the patent specifications, claims, disclosure, non-disclosure, everything is covered in this particular chapter. Now next one is the fifth chapter, that is patent rules. And what are the rules that we need to follow? Indian Patent Act, European scenario, US scenario, Australia, Japan, and multilateral treaties. And also India is a like member of TRIPS agreement, Paris Convention. So that's why we can take the benefit of that also as well. And this is something which is asked into the patent examination in addition to this particular chapter. And sixth chapter is that totally practical oriented chapter. Here we are literally writing a patent, practicing how the patents are like how to search the patent before drafting a patent or before designing. So patent search, drafting, filing, processing, then litigation in case any dispute arises, then patent publication, time frame, cost, form number kaun se chahiye, what are the different types of forms are used, and then using certain there is a technique where agents are used and they are charging around 30 to 40,000 only to search the prior art search, that is through the patent database. So we are also going to use various important website like esps.net and all these things, searching international database of the WIPO and all these things. The study resources, ample number of study resources are available, which is given into the reference book. Even various courses conducted by the NPTEL on a patent, how to search the patent, how to draft the patent, how to file the patent, and all basics about the patent. There is a course available in the NPTEL. The assessment for this subject, internal assessment, 20 marks. It consists of 2 compulsory class tests, and rest of the marks will be covered into the end semester examination. There is no practical or lab for this particular subject. So this is all about IPR and patenting. If you have any question, feel free to ask me, or you can directly meet me at ground floor placement sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Lokhande sir, for giving exclusive idea about this IPR and patenting. Thank you. Now I request Dr. Risha Agarwal, madam, to give presentation on introduction to bioengineering.
Yeah, thank you, Yogesh sir. Very good morning to all. Just give me a second. I will just share my screen. Yogi sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, madam.
Okay. So, yes, students, I am Dr. Richa Agrawal from Mechanical Engineering Department, and I'm here to tell you something about one of the specialization in your institute level electives, and that is for the first subject which you are going to learn in that specialization is Introduction to Bioengineering. The course code for this will be IL 362, and as other ILOC, this is also going to have 3 credits, right? Now, before I go into the content, I know many of you are new to this domain, so I will just try to create a background so that you can understand the content of this subject, right? So as I said, this is an specialization under bioengineering, and you will be learning 3 subjects into it. So in SEM 6, you will be having Introduction to Bioengineering. SEM 7, you will be having Biomedical Instrumentation. And in SEM 8, you will be learning Medical Image Processing. So as and when you go to the next semester, the details of the other subjects will be made aware to you. So today, in this SEM 6, the first subject which will be offered if you opt for bioengineering will be Introduction to Bioengineering. But students, before going into the details, what is bioengineering? Okay. Now, from the word, you can understand that you are going to apply your engineering knowledge, something related to medical it is. Okay. So just, I want you all to give a thought, like suppose if you are visiting a doctor, right? You enter his cabin. Okay. What the doctor does? He will, maybe he will do some examination with the help of some stethoscope. He may check your BP with the BP apparatus. Then he will prescribe some tests to you, right? Maybe some x-rays, some sonography, something like that, depending upon the complexity. And you know, now, whenever you, I'm not, thank God that you will not go into this situation, but you know that our family, they have various diseases which need a higher level of examinations, right? Now, right from the smallest instrument, that is a stethoscope, to a MRI machine, or you can say some testing lab equipments. What do you think? Who has made all this equipment? Definitely a doctor has not made it, right? So there was an engineer, right, who has applied his knowledge in the making of all these instruments. Okay, now I am just talking about instrumentation, right? But there is many more things which are done by an engineer in order to assist a doctor or a medical practitioner to diagnose a disease and to treat a disease. So if I talk about the extent of it, you must have heard that there are robots who are doing surgeries, maybe under the examination of an doctor, or we never know what will happen after 20 years is there will be totally a robot who is going to do an operation. Now, if I think the extreme, that if I want to make a robot who is going to do an operation, don't you think that you should have some knowledge of medical? See, you want to design a robot which is who is going to do the incision, he is going to do some surgeries, so that engineer should have some basic knowledge so that he can at least interact or discuss with the doctor, right? Now, if the doctor will talk about some bone, femur, and the engineer say, what do you mean by a femur, right? So in order, see, any medical equipment is not going to be made by an engineer alone. That is also very sure. You have to consult, or you in collaboration with a medical practitioner, you will be making the instrument. But in order to have a proper discussion and a proper communication, it is expected that some level of basic knowledge an engineer should have. Okay, and that's why this is the place where you can get that knowledge. And after pandemic and all that, you know that medical and healthcare is going to be very important, right? You can imagine that if any person is going to a doctor, even though he may be or may not be, whatever is the situation, if anything is told by a doctor, he will definitely go for it. So this is the most important, and you can say, aspect in a person's life, that he is not going to compromise in this field, right? It may happen that he will not go to a restaurant, but definitely if your doctor has prescribed you some tests, you will definitely do it, right? So the future is very, you can say, competitive in this medical field, and this is a very new field to explore also. I don't say that there are engineers who are making equipments, but they are not having that level of knowledge so that they can go for a better perspective, right? So if you think of having some future that you are going to work in this area, I will propose that you should opt for this specialization so that whenever you want to make any equipment, or if you get placed into a industry which is making this equipment, definitely you will get a preference. Okay. So coming to the subject, as I told you, the first subject is going to be introduction to bioengineering. But before that also, what is bioengineering, right? So this is a place where a doctor and an engineer knowledge is gained together. Okay. So you will be getting some knowledge of medical background and clubbed with some engineering knowledge which are required to make any medical application. You will be getting it over here, right? So bioengineering is a discipline where you will use your engineering principle to either a design or analyze a biological system or a biomedical technology. It can happen that you are developing an instrument, or it may happen that you are developing a system which is going to diagnose also, right? I will come to some of the applications of this field in the later slides, by where not only instruments, but an engineer can analyze the data, and he can even give some application, some app which can predict or diagnose the disease also. Okay. So all this thing is possible in a better way. I am not saying that an engineer cannot do it if he is not taking the specialization, but if he wants to do it in a better way, this knowledge is definitely going to help he or she to do it, right? Now, once you go for this subject, there are some objectives which is set behind to make this curriculum, right? So you should understand the human anatomy. As I told you, that if a doctor is saying some words, you should at least be able to understand it, right? So you will be studying about the basic human anatomy. What are the mechanics? Suppose if I say that I want to design a prosthetic arm, right? So if suppose if you want to design that arm, you should know what are the degrees of freedom and so on, right? You should know, the knowledge of degrees of freedom with respect to a machine, but you should understand that in a human body, what will be the degrees of freedom, right? See, being from a mechanical background, I may give you some examples from mechanical background, but it is not limited to mechanical or automobile engineering. I am telling you, there are many apps which are being developed. There are every instrument cannot be a pure mechanical instrument as on date. Every instrument is involving electronical part and electrical circuits, right? And the image processing is a field of computer and IT, or electronics. And so it is a very broad domain where knowledge of all engineering fields are required for the completeness of that instrument or a research, whatever is being done. Okay. So you must, and not only this, you will be learning about some material properties also, because see, when I say that I am going to study the tissues and the bones, you should be able to have that material knowledge also. Okay. So what will be the failures? All these things you will be learning in this course. Then, as I told you, you will be also learning about the biological flows, what are the laws and boundaries again with respect to an human anatomy, right? Then you will be learning some part of fluid mechanics, because it may happen that you are suppose you are making a valve, right, for a heart. So you should know about the flow, how the blood flows. So some properties also you should be aware of, right? Then, as I told you, nowadays implants are very important, right? From head to toe, there can be an implant which can be implanted into a person's body, right? So you will be studying about what are the places where you can put an implant. You must be heard about hip replacement, knee joint, all these things. What are these? These are nothing but an implant which is fixed into a human body, right? Now, who has made this implant? Again, an engineer. Again, you have to test it, analyze it, and research is also going on how you can make this better and better. Okay. And outcome of this subject, as it is mentioned, you will develop all the knowledge and principles which are required. You will understand the properties of blood, bones, tissues. As I say, materials properties or material knowledge is very important, right? You will understand about the mechanics of the systems with respect to, again, human anatomy. You will understand the dynamics of the human anatomy, and you will also understand how to interpret the data, whatever you are you get it, right? So understanding of that data is also important, no? Whatever the doctors provides you. Coming to the content of this introduction to bioengineering, as I told you, the first module will consist of the basic mechanics, which is related to a human body. Then it may happen that you will be learning about the gate century, the engineering, psychology, and the anatomy of humans. Then this is all introductory part. So that the next modules will be easy for you to understand. I am again telling you this will include some medical terms, right? But as you all are science students, I think much of the things you will be aware of, but you will learn it to a greater extent so that you can develop an instrument or a technology in this domain. Then the second module will be about tissue biomechanics, because see, the bone and a tissue, they behave in a very different way, right? Tissues are very flexible, right? So you need to understand that what will be the mechanics of a tissue whenever it is acted upon by any force or anything. So that tissue biomechanics will be different than a bone mechanics, right? So you will learn about the tissue biomechanics in the second module. Then, as I told you, now you will be concentrating on joints also, because see, there are I think there are 108 bones, right? All bones are connected to each other. So every bone joint is behaving in a different way. The movement of your hand, the movement of your finger, the movement of your knee, every joint is behaving in a different way, right? So if you are going to work on any joint, you should understand how is this movement, right? So the joint biomechanics will be learned in the third module. Then in the fourth module, as I say, materials are very important. Nowadays, materials knowledge is required in every industry, whether you go it from automobile to you go to manufacturing or you go to anything. Material knowledge is very much required because you can enhance it or you can modify it. You can give a better solution if you go for a different materials. And there are new materials also, right? Now in this medical field, by 3D printing, or that is additive manufacturing, is also gaining lot of importance, right? I don't know whether you are aware of or not. There is bioprinting also going on. Bioprinting means you will be printing a artificial heart or a lung, and which you can directly implant on a person. Now, their material, obviously you should understand, because which material to be used, and if suppose that you are making an implant and if it is failing in due course of time, you should know what are the different options available. So lot of research, lot of scopes is there. So material knowledge to some base introductory level will be imparted in the module number 4. As I told you, implants, that is another field, right? So the knowledge of implants, how an implant is designed, what types of implants are there, that you will learn in the 5th module. And then the last, which is very important, is application, right? All these things, where you're going to apply, right? So the 6th one is totally the application of all this knowledge, where you can apply this. And it may happen that you will be given a case study, or you will be given some small task where you will apply as per your interest, whether you are from mechanical or whether you're from auto or you're from electronics, computer, IT. Depending upon your domain, one task will be given where you're going to apply not only this knowledge, but the knowledge of your other subjects, and you may be developing something in this field. Okay, so that will be the 6th module. Now coming to the assessment, as other electives, again it will be having internal assessments, 2 internal assessment, one will be test, and the other thing can maybe your test, or it can be depending upon your case studies. As sir mentioned, it will be an NSEM exam of 60 marks and some reference books. But I believe that rather than these reference books, it may happen that you will be referring some medical books in order to understand because engineering knowledge you have, right? You need to get some medical knowledge so that you can do the task more properly, right? So that will be given. But apart from this, I would just like to show you a few things which will give you a more clear picture upon the application point of view, right? Now, here, see, these whatever projects I'm telling you, this is being done at our institute, right? You can, there is a fracture on the mandible, and you may be asked to design a guide plate, right? So that the doctor can fix the implants properly. These all steps are done by an engineer, right? You may design a splint so that this was a need from a doctor that after the surgery there should be no movement of the jaw. So you give me a plate which is exactly the shape and size of the denture of the patient, so that the it will all the fractured part should be at a position. They don't know how to design it. They don't know how to make it, right? They don't know what material will be used for this. So there they want the assistance of an engineer to give it, right? You may be required to do some stress analysis, right? The doctor will say that I don't know what will happen if I apply this implant after 4 years of time. So you tell me what will be the stress, whether it is going to sustain the load or not. Okay, so that will be done by an engineer. The instruments, this is an instrument which is made by one of our ME student. The doctor wanted to create perforations in the tooth due in some their dental surgery, so they wanted a handy equipment which can create holes on the denture. Again, as per the requirement of the doctor, the instrument was created. This is the finite element analysis of foot. This is a prosthetic arm made by one of the students. Here, all the knowledge of those linkages was imparted, and the signal was taken by an EMG sensor. I don't know whether you're aware of it or not. So if just with the help of the muscle movement, the finger should move, right? So this was done by one of the UG student. Then apart from this, see, as I told you, I am from mechanical, so I have given you examples of this projects. But apart from this, there are projects which are going on in computer, IT, electronics, and electrical departments also. And the cherry on the cake is that recently we have an MOU with MGM Institute of Health Sciences, because what happens is whenever you're doing or any project or applying it, you need some assistance or guidance of a doctor, right? So we have the complete 7 to 8 institutes under this university, where we are collaborating with physiotherapists, dentists, then orthopedic, and all these people, and we whatever knowledge we want or whatever guidance we want, we can take directly from them. So we have projects which are going on in biological network analysis for cancer propagation. This is done by Verma sir. Microscopic image-based segmentation and quantification of cancerous tissue. Again, it is an comp IT-based project where sir may tell you more about it whenever you interact. But from the images or the X-rays, you can find out what is the level of cancer and all that. Detection of pneumonia disease from chest radiograph. Again, image processing. Then human skin detection using histogram processing and Gaussian mixture model based on color spaces. Again, application of comp IT on this field. Then one of our Professor Binsu Babu, is making a device to mimic the chewing force, right? Which can be used to find out the force data. Students are making an instrument to measure the density of the bone. Many projects are done to find out best combination of materials so that the implant can be more sustainable and have more life. These are just a glimpse of the application point of this domain. So you can think that if you opt for this specialization, where you can find yourself in the industry, and health industry, I'm telling you, is going to have lot of importance in the coming future. So if you think of this domain, I think this will be the best selection of the institute level specialization, because see, this knowledge is not going to be is not covered in any of your core subjects or department level electives, because this is something which is apart from our engineering, right? We need to adapt ourselves to this domain. So for this basic knowledge will be required. So that much from my side. So if you are interested in this specialization, you can connect to me at any time in this mail ID. My sitting place is in R001, that is the CNC lab, which you know it as a maker studio or a component library, right? So if you have any doubt, you can connect to me. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Richa madam, for giving a glimpse of this bioengineering, introduction to bioengineering. And as you said, after this pandemic, definitely this field is going to help really well. And along with that, You just mentioned about the what you have MOU signed with the MGM. So definitely our student will get more exposure about the modern
Yes.
techniques available in this bioengineering. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Now I request Dr. Malika Sharma ma'am to give presentation on visual art as well as on journalism, media, and communication studies. Over to Malika Sharma madam.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, students. Good morning, students. So I would like to share my screen first. Is my screen visible? Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, madam.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So today I'll give you a brief idea about this topic called as visual art. So this is the subject that is being introduced to you all. So here I'll be giving you just a gist of what are the contents of this subject. So let me go to the first topic. That is, you must have heard about this quotation. You must have read it somewhere. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. So basically, this subject is, focused towards doing and understanding. So here, I will say that when we are talking about visual art, we are focused on what we want to do. So the training students in actually doing rather than just listening to what the teacher is saying, that is important in the subject. So when you're doing, you are actually developing your skill of visual perception. Then you are also self-reflecting. You're developing the skill of self-reflection. Then third, you are also developing the skill of critical thinking, and also you also develop the skill of appreciating. So most of the time what happens, we tend to believe that, when we have to observe, someone's work of art, or it could be anything, piece of writing, we need to criticize. We need to talk, in a very negative manner. So this aspect, has to be understood, that it is not only observing, the negative aspects of what we have seen or what we have read. It is actually appreciating the efforts of the person, appreciating the good things or the positive aspects of the presentation, maybe, or of the piece of writing, or any piece of work of art. So we have to understand that it is critical appreciation and not just criticizing. So this is something, that we need to inculcate in the students. So therefore, what I believe is that when we are involved in the act of doing it ourselves, then we understand what are the efforts that go behind creating a piece of work of art or a model, for example. Okay, so that is called as, aesthetic judgment. So we have to develop in the students the concept of aesthetic judgment. And this is very important because aesthetic judgment implies that we do it ourselves, then we acquire the skills, and then on the basis of the skills that we have acquired, then we can judge what the other person have done. And so we remember what we have done it all by ourselves. The next module, that will be included in the syllabus is related to visual design. Now, you have a fair idea about what is visual design. I would say that visual design is actually meant to improve a design or a product's aesthetic appeal and also the usability. And here we are talking about from the perspective of a web page or a website. Okay, so normally you will find there are a lot of the colors that are added, when there is a website is designed. There are a lot of decorative materials, as we can call it. As a layman person, we call it as decorative materials that are added, when you are talking about a website. So most of the, as a layman, I would say that what is the necessity of this, like decorative materials or the colors that have been added? But it is essential to take the reader from one page to another. And so visual design is therefore very important from the perspective of how you utilize the space, the color, the typography, and so on. So therefore, we are trying to understand and apply the colors that is essential while designing a website, or even, I would say, while designing a PowerPoint presentation. So let us now move on to the major aspects of colors. You must have a fair idea that the three primary colors, that is red, yellow, and blue, these are the three primary colors. And from these primary colors, we can form, the secondary colors. For example, a combination of red and yellow will lead to orange. A combination of yellow and blue will lead to green color. So these are the secondary colors, and the combination of a primary color and a secondary color will further lead to tertiary colors. So you can understand that, how important colors are, because with the proper combination, again, we can create an aesthetic appeal. We can arouse the interest in the audience. We can arouse the interest in the readers by creating the colors, by applying the colors, in a very systematic and in a logical manner. So next, the topic that we will be trained in is that you have to understand that, there are many positive aspects of colors as well as the negative aspects of colors. I'll just take an example of the color red. Now, the color red, the positive aspect could be it is a sign of prosperity. It is a sign of joy. It is happiness. It is vitality. Then celebration, energy. These are the different, positive aspects of colors, and there could be many more of the positive aspects of the color red. But when we go to the negative aspects, and in some of the countries, we know that, like all over the world, red is a symbol of danger. But otherwise, also in some of the countries, red is a representative of irritation, aggression, anger. Then, it is in South Africa, especially, the red color is symbolized in the form of loss or mourning. So therefore, when you are communicating with people from different countries, we should know, what does the color represent? And on the basis of that, we should use the color. So therefore, when we are designing a website, it becomes very essential to understand the different, positive and the negative traits associated with the colors. So now we move on to the next aspect, that is image editing. So you will also be given training in image editing. It is very essential that we understand the concept of image editing, because whenever we take up image from the website, from Google, we borrow an image from Google. Most of the time we don't know how to edit. So we'll start from the basic concept of maybe cropping the image, or changing the background or removing the background. We start from the basic concepts, and then we will go on to creating editing the image using a software. So it is essential that when we create images for web or the video, we have to see to it that it fits according to the concept that we are sharing with the audience or the readers. So, and then the next topic that will be dealt with in this particular syllabus is related to clay modeling. Again, that is very important from the aspect of industrial applications. And so therefore, the different techniques will be, trained. You'll be trained with the different techniques of clay modeling. And obviously, what are the implications for the industry? How is it essential that we use clay modeling for the industry? So this aspect is also very important. For example, when you are designing a model, it may not be out of clay. The term is used as clay modeling, but you can design a model, of a vehicle, for example, or you can design a model of any devices that you have learned, and you can think of, representing that module and explaining, with the help of the module. If you give an explanation or if you give a presentation, that becomes more, understandable to the audience. So all these things, we will be trained in this particular subject. So with this, I would like to thank you for this first subject, that is visual art. Now I move on to the next presentation, that is the next part of the subject, that is related to journalism, media, and communication. So I'll take you to the next slide. I hope this slide is also visible. Yes, sir. Kindly give me the confirmation. Is this slide visible? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Thank you, sir, for the confirmation. Okay, so here I'll be presenting the next part of the syllabus, that is journalism, media, and communication studies.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
The previous slides are only visible.
Okay, yeah, just a minute.
Yes, madam. Now we can see the new slides.
Okay, fine. Okay, so this is the next part of the topic, that is journalism, media, and communication studies. And here I would like to take you to the different modules that are included in this subject. The first topic, of course, apart from giving you the basic idea of journalism and media and mass communication, I would go ahead with the different modules, that is included in the subject. So first is reporting and editing. We report in the form of, taking an interview, for example, and on the basis of an investigation that is being conducted, or on the basis of an observation. These are three major ways of reporting. And editing, as you all know, that we edit with the purpose of preparing a news report which is meant for publication. So therefore, or for telecasting or for broadcasting, or so therefore this editing is a process by which a report is read, or it is corrected and modified, and the value is added to it, is value added, or it is improved upon, and it is made better for presentation. So you can understand, in fact, nowadays, the post of an editor has become, so much in demand that every time you find, an advertisement related to the post of an editor, you require editing at all aspects, even when you are not only when it comes to journalism, but otherwise also when it comes to other aspects also. When you write a book also, you require an editor. When you give a presentation, of course you require an editor, someone who can edit your presentation, someone who can go through your presentation and make it more presentable. So everywhere editing is necessary. It has become so much in demand. It is so much required nowadays, and it is a post where you get well paid also. So next module you would be dealt with is writing editorials. How do you write editorials, reviews, and articles? So basically you will be taught to develop your writing skills. So there are different, the techniques that are necessary in order to write an editorial, the different language that one needs to follow while writing an editorial or a review or an article. And so therefore we have to give a lot of importance to the construction of sentences, or maybe to the words that we select while writing. So we are basically trying to develop your writing skills. The third module will focus on, on awareness, creating an awareness amongst all of us, the use of the press laws and ethics behind it. So we'll talk about the censorship, we'll talk about the privacy issues, we'll talk about intellectual property rights, and we'll also talk about the defamation. So most of the time what happens is, you must have observed, sometimes people, they just go to a third person, they speak about you, or they laugh about you. They laugh about maybe the clothes that you wear, they laugh about the way you speak, they laugh about the way you look at. We'll talk about when you're talking about the press, when you're talking about journalism, all this is comes under the violation of one's privacy, the violation of the law, and therefore you could be dragged to the court. And otherwise also, whether it is written down in journalism, we normally say that everything has to be in written form, and then only the person will believe. That is not so. Even when you use sign language in order to laugh at someone, in order to like a point, ridicule someone, okay, you can also be dragged to the court. And therefore we should understand what are the laws behind it, and what kind of ethics that we should follow when you're working in an organization, when interacting with people, when you're communicating with others. We have to be very careful how we communicate with others. And when we are even trying to publish something which everybody can read about, so we are not we have to be very objective when you are publishing an article. When you're publishing our opinion about something, we have to be very objective about it. So we have to give factual information rather than give information that is based on our emotions. Okay, so therefore, those kind of laws and ethics will be taught to you, or rather you will be exposed to this kind of ethics. Then the next topic that will be dealt with is advertising techniques. What are the different advertising techniques? How do you advertise a product? That is very important. You would want to become an entrepreneur, you need to also advertise your product. You're creating a product, you need to advertise. What are the different ways of advertising? That is something that you will be trained. For example, you have to use the color psychology psychology. Okay, these are the different, I'm just stating some of the important aspects of advertising techniques. You have to think about the composition, what you have written, maybe the slogan that you have written. Okay, that is important. How do you frame your words? How do you combine the use of the words? Then the visual path, which path you're choosing, which type of visual communication you will choose in order to advertise. So these are the important aspects that you should remember when you're advertising your product. The typography, then the composition, I have already said earlier. The reputation, we should avoid repetition. So repetition, sometimes repetition is also necessary. At some aspects, it is necessary because you want to draw the attention of the audience, towards that particular aspect. So repetition all the time may not be useful, but at particular time, it might be very useful in order to draw the attention of the audience. And of course, your body language also. We use a body language in order to advertise. You might think that why it is essential. I look good, so why it is necessary, for me to concentrate on my body language. You might look good, but then your body language might not indicate that you want to be friendly with that person. Your body language might indicate that you want to you think very high of yourself, you think very good about yourself. But thinking good about yourself will not help you to win a customer, will not help you to advertise your product. You have to come to the level of the customer, or try to acquaint yourself with the customer in such a way so that the customer feels very comfortable while you're communicating with the customer. So that kind of body language we have to display. So all these aspects you have to take care of while you're advertising a product, and this is what you'll be trained in. With this, I would say that I would like to thank you for all of you for your patient listening. And if you have any doubts about this two subjects, that is visual art and journalism, mass media and communication, you can definitely contact me. You can get in touch with me, and we can explain. You can go through the syllabus also in detail, but I've given you the basic idea. So in case of any doubt, you can definitely get in touch with me. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Malvika ma'am, for giving a wonderful presentation on visual art as well as on journalism, media, and communication studies.
Thank you, sir.
Now I request Dr. Divya madam to give a presentation on vehicle safety. Hello, Divya ma'am, over to you. Hello, Divya ma'am.
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. You can start the presentation.
Very good morning to all the students and faculty colleagues who are here in the meet today. So I'm Divya Padmanabhan, and I'm here to brief you about one of the electives that we plan to offer. And the name of this elective is Vehicle Safety. So before I get started with the subject, let me, because we've had so many courses being talked about so far. So let me just tell the students once again that in semester 6, we are asking you to choose one institute level specialization. And let me tell you that if you have, you've been through this last 1 hour and different subjects were being discussed. So the groups under which the specializations are being offered, once again, I would try to sum it up. Avinash sir did mention about it, but let me tell you once again. Group 1 is about business and entrepreneurship. Group 2 is about bioengineering. Group 3 is engineering design. Group 4 is arts and humanities. Group 5 is applied science. And group 6 is life skills, repair, maintenance, and safety. So under the first group, business and entrepreneurship, you've heard from Arun sir and Lokhande sir about the subjects, entrepreneurship, development, and management. And the second course was IPR. Under the specialization of bioengineering, you've heard from Dr. Richa Agarwal about the introductory course on bioengineering. Under the specialization of engineering design, you've heard from Dr. Tanduskar about the course on product design. Under the fourth group, arts and humanities, you've just heard from Dr. Malavika Sharma about visual arts, and then journalism and mass media. And group 5, applied science. Again, here we are offering 2 courses, and the orientation will follow immediately after I'm done with this vehicle safety. And group 6 is about life skills, repair, maintenance, and safety. one of the courses which we are offering under this is vehicle safety. The other course is the maintenance of electronic equipments, which you've already heard from Avinash Vaidya sir. And let me tell you, like in lines with the way we are operating with our DLOCs, here also you have to choose one vertical, one of the 6 specializations which we have offered at the institute level. And through your 6th, 7th and 8th semester, obviously, you will have to complete 3 courses under each one of the vertical which you have decided to choose. Okay, so anyway, you can get in contact with any of the teachers who gave the orientation today for more details on it. So let me get started with this subject, this course on vehicle safety. And as we get started, I'm sure all of you aspire to have your own vehicle as soon as possible. Okay, some of you may be wanting to buy that 2-wheeler, or maybe some of you would be wanting to buy the 4-wheeler, or some fancy cars or fancy 2-wheelers which you have been seeing. And when would you be buying it? Anytime soon, right? But I anticipate that in the next 5 to 10 years, most of you would have your own vehicle. And this is a subject which is kind of, I would say, yes, it is important for anyone who either uses or moves around in a vehicle to be aware of certain aspects related to vehicle safety. I'm sure none of you would want to sit in a vehicle which is not safe, right? So vehicle safety as a course, it is being offered to give you a gist of the importance of subject safety, particularly in the context of vehicles and on-road.
What's
in the
better than
vehicle
moisturized
situations.
skin?
You all
Bouncy
know
skin.
that
Let's find
the
out with
automotive
these
industry
balloons.
in
This is
India has
skin
been
which is
growing,
moisturized, and this is skin which is
hugely
moisturized and
day
also
by day, year
bouncy.
by year.
Dove
And we
Supple
see
Bounce
lot
Body
of
Lotion's
vehicles
new
on road
Trio
today.
formula
And
moisturizes
there are a
your
number
skin,
of
makes it
factors and
soft
there are a
and
number of factors which
bouncy.
actually
Dove Supple
compromise
Bounce
on the
Body
safety
Lotion.
of the vehicles on road. And the
If you want to
issues
ace your
which
paper,
bother us, this
download
is what
Grammarly.
we are
Are
going to
you
address through this
me?
subject on
Yeah,
vehicle safety.
see you in 3 months.
Okay. The reasons
See, I
for
love
this, the
our
reason
ideas
why
here,
the
but this sentence
focus
structure could use a little work.
towards
And this
vehicle
is skin
safety
which is
has been
moisturized
given
and
day
also
by day,
bouncy.
year by 5 years in
Dove
India,
Supple Bounce
lot
Body
of the
Lotion's new
on
Trio
road
formula
and
moisturizes
there are
your
number
skin,
of
makes it
factors
soft
and
and bouncy.
in order to
Dove
address
Supple Bounce
on the
Body
safety,
Lotion.
the reason the vehicles on road don't want the
If you want to
issues
ace your
which
paper,
bother us,
download
what
Grammarly.
we are
Are
going to
you
address.
me?
Everyone of us
Yeah,
understands that
see you in 3 months.
with a little bit of
See, I
caution,
love
it is
our ideas
possible
here,
to
but this sentence
avoid
structure could use a little
accidents.
work.
And there are numerous other ways which can be incorporated into vehicles to prevent accidents. So what happens, what you see on your screen there, every 60 minutes, 16 people die in a motor vehicle crash. Every minute, a serious road accident. And every day, 1,214 road crashes. This is the statistics of India. And again, let me tell you, this is the statistics which was taken from the data gathered as a part of a survey 2 years back. And I'm sure the number today is different and maybe even more than what you see there. So this is the cause. This is very worrying. Why do we have to lose precious lives which can be saved with a little bit of caution, a little bit of safe practices that we could adopt? Okay, and the entire subject is actually focused on trying to understand the existing systems in vehicles and also trying to have vehicles modified in terms of their structures or have new systems because as I just talked about those numbers which we just saw, a huge number of people losing their lives in accident. Okay, and the reason is that every accident, vehicle accident, comes at a huge cost. Okay, there are socioeconomic costs associated, which you can see there. The numbers there again, that's from a survey which has been published. But let me tell you that there are huge economic losses, huge financial, socio-economic, I said it, and economic losses as well as, personal losses which happen as a result of accident. The damage to the vehicle, the damage to the occupants of the vehicle, the damage could be to the pedestrian or other vehicles which were there on the road when an accident happened. And then you can imagine the insurance cost involved, the cost of medical treatments, the cost of a personal loss if something happened. That is something which is just not just cannot be compensated. But let me just tell you in brief that the cost of an accident is huge. We may not have really thought of it in this way, but the reality is that the cost of any accident is huge, not only for an individual, for the society, but also as a nation. If you look at, there is a huge cost which goes into the accidents. See, the total socio-economic cost due to traffic accidents in India is approximately equal to 15.7 to $38.8 billion, which is a huge amount. Okay? So the entire aim of having a subject like vehicle safety, it is to educate people to be more aware about practices and systems which can help prevent accidents. So in fact, WHO also was concerned about this accidents which are happening, the alarming number of people who were losing lives. And particularly of importance is that the people who die in an accident, it is found that most of the people who end up losing their lives during an accident, they are in the most productive age group. Okay, so that's a huge loss to that nation and globally also. So WHO came up with this campaign on vehicle safety. They had launched it around 10-15 years back, and this is still continuing. They had this aim of reducing the accidental deaths by 50% by the year 2020. Of course, the campaign will go on till 2030. So as a part of this campaign, a lot of improvements have been brought into the vehicles also. I'm sure you understand whichever vehicle you must be seeing around you, an automobile, a four-wheeler, if you see, whatever you see today and what you would have seen as a child, 10, 15 years back, there are huge changes aesthetically, definitely. Many technological advancements have taken place, yes, but let me tell you that most significant would be some modification improvement which has been brought into this vehicle to address the safety of the vehicle. Okay, so I will not discuss much on this because this is something that we would be discussing as a part of this subject itself, the WHO campaign on vehicle safety. Okay, so among the few things, wearing a seat belt is mandatory. I'm sure everyone read about the news reports, a very recent one, Cyrus Mistry, a very enterprising, young person, he died, and he was. It is said that in that particular accident, the two people who were sitting at the rear and who were not belted, they were the ones who lost their lives. The two people who were seated, with the person who was driving and the front passenger, they got saved because they were wearing their seat belt. Okay, so simple things like this, we will have a relook into these aspects through this course. And let me come to the contents of the course. A lot of things are being taught, and that is what we would be doing through the semester. But let me tell you, I'm sure many of you have heard about the word safe car and the top 10 safest cars in India. This is something which is being published regularly since the last 4 to 5 years. Before that, we never heard anything about safe car, and particularly in the Indian context. The reason is, as I just talked about the WHO campaign to address vehicle safety, very close to that, back home here in India, we have now started adopting the Bharat BNV SAP, that's the Bharat New Vehicle Safety Assessment Program. Now, this is a program which mandates that every car manufacturer will subject their cars to a certain minimum number of tests, crash tests, in order to assess the safety of that car. Okay, so based on the performance of these of the cars during the crash testing, the car is given certain, every car model gets certain points, and the points are then converted into stars. So 5-star is the topmost rating. So 5-star rating means it's a safe car. And again, when we're talking about safety, there are different aspects. Safe for the driver, safe for the front passenger, safe in terms of the side, for the side passenger, or safety in the context of a child occupant who is sitting in a car. So there are different aspects of safety which are evaluated during the crash test, which we'll be looking into. There are something which is known as, I'm sure many of you have heard the word dummy and even have seen some videos, interesting videos, which demonstrate the happening, the simulation of a crash or maybe a crash test itself. And the dummy, the way the dummy gets impacted and the way a dummy is made to, positioned inside a car, and then a huge lot of data is actually generated from these dummies during the crash test event. And this data is what the car manufacturers make use of in order to make their systems better, in order to improvise on their existing systems. So those are certain things that we would also touch upon. Then the rear crashes is something that, again, it is, we'll be focusing on some rear crashes also. And, I'm sure you heard at some point or the other some accident where a smaller vehicle got inside a larger vehicle. So there are something like the underrun protection devices, which have come into existence in the last 7 to 8 years. There are different designs on it. Okay, it could be a front rear under protection device, or a rear or a side, something like that. The entire purpose is to mount a structure on a large vehicle at a place. I mean, it could be the rear end, it could be the front end, it could be the side end, to ensure that in the event of a crash with a smaller accident, the smaller vehicle should not get going into the larger vehicle, get underneath the larger vehicle. Among the other things that we would be talking about in this particular subject, it is the reconstruction of an accident. Yes, there are, in the developed countries, there are full-fledged safety and training courses being offered on accident reconstruction. Because once an accident has happened, there are a lot of people who will be interested to understand exactly what were the reasons for that accident to have happened, so that they can take care of it. Suppose it was some fault with the car design or the road design, all those modifications, changes can be brought about. So accident analysis and reconstruction method is something that we would talk about. And a few of you definitely have heard about the anti-lock braking system, the ESP, the low tire pressure warning systems, and other collision avoidance systems. This is also something that we would learn under this course. And there is going to be an activity which I would expect every student who is interested to join in for the course should be doing. So that is all about this particular course. The assessment of this course, similar. Yes, there are going to be 2 assessments, 2 internal assessments and 1 final. But of the 2 internal assessments, I would prefer the first assessment to be a written assessment. The second assessment is going to be some group activity, which we will have here in the campus in order to create an awareness about vehicle safety. It could include aspects like helmet safety as well. Okay, so that is all about this particular course, vehicle safety, which is being offered under the specialization, under the institute level specialization, that's life skills, repair, maintenance, and safety. So that is it from my side. Thank you all. You've all been here for more than an hour, so I'm really thank you for your patience. And if you have any further doubts about this course or how anything related to this particular subject, you can contact me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Ma'am, there are few questions I think students have asked in the chat box regarding
Okay.
Shetty Rajikesh asking about will be there having
Will
practical
we be
sessions?
having a practical sessions? No, there are no practical sessions, but yes, we will have a lot of activities.
Okay,
And there could be
thank
some
you.
demonstration also. When I say activity, there could be demonstration. We can go and look at a new car model and all the safety aspects, the safety features which have come into the latest cars. We can have a look at that. And there's an activity which I would strongly be promoting for the students who would do this. This is about defensive driving. Okay, defensive driving in the sense, adopting all practices which would ensure that accidents do not happen because of the driver's negligence. Rajkesh Shetty, I hope I've answered that. Anything else?
I think ma'am questions are
Yeah. Okay, thank you so
yes,
much.
ma'am. So that is there. Student, please mute your mic. Student, please mute your mic. Thank you, ma'am, our presentation on this vehicle safety, and even in future era, definitely this is most required, as you shown the statistics in the beginning about this vehicle safety. So we'll move on with our next presentation. I request Dr. Khankar sir to give presentation on computational physics. Hello, I'll hand over to Dr. Khankar sir.
Yogesh sir,
Hello ma'am.
we can ask Panda sir to continue if Khankar sir is not available.
Okay, okay madam, okay.
He will start with his course.
Okay, okay. So now I request Panda sir to give presentation on polymers and polymeric materials.
Thank you, Yogesh sir. And I hope I'm clearly audible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share my screen quickly so that we can start. I understand the students are sitting for a long time here. I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes,
yes sir, yes.
Okay. So again, good morning to all. Okay, and as I said, I understand that all of you are sitting for a long time. We started this orientation at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we are just keep on going. Okay, so I am here to discuss about the syllabus called Polymers and Polymeric Materials in the code name of IL 367. Okay, as a one of the institute elective subject. And this topic is, I don't think is very new to all of us, because the students are listening to me right now. They might have one courses in your first year, semester 1 or semester 2. Now, to talk about the polymeric material, I think I no need any kind of introduction to this material, okay, to this versatile material, because I am sure that where we are sitting right now, okay, either in your home or your some of the any other places, if you see around you, I think 60 to 70% materials are made up of polymers and polymeric materials. Okay, because polymers, as I said, is the biggest contribution to the chemistry in the 20th century. Okay, it involves a large number of applications, because when it's so many monomers, they join together hand to hand, they create some miracles in the form of polymers, and they have a variety of applications, because nowadays you cannot think our life without the polymers. Okay, without the polymers, I understand that mobile phone that we might holding is a polymer casing, that the desktop, if you're listening to me, is a made up of polymers, the keyboard, everything around you, if you see, made up of polymers only. Now but initially started with the polymers, but if you see at the last bottom, now we are talking about the polymer blends, because we understand that it is very difficult to get all the desired properties in a single polymer. So what we are doing, we are just mixing two or more polymers together to get a much more desirable properties. And now instead of blending, now we are going one step forward towards the composites. Okay, because composites is something that if I incorporate any of kind of inorganic filler to that, we are getting some more extraordinary properties. Okay, so why this polymers is so versatile, why people are only talking about the polymers. I have some slides. Okay, very quickly I'll go through, I don't take much more time. So you can see the flexible electronics. Okay, why I'm showing this screen, because you can understand that no matter you are belongs to automobile or mechanical engineering, no matter you are belongs to a computer or IT department, no matter you are belongs to the electronics or computer science or ECS department, any of the department, everyone can contribute, and everyone have a directly, indirectly relation to this versatile material called polymers and polymeric material. So as I said, flexible electronics, you can see in the world of flexible electronics, people are using the polymers like anything in the light emitting diode, lightning display. There are many more. Okay. And then you can see people are using a lot of polymeric materials in the field of sensors. Okay, in the field of sensors, because nowadays people are going to the sensors for the consumption of the energy. Okay, and apart from that, you can see people are talking about the stretchable elastic electronics. Okay, where you can very soon you can find that the mobile phone that you are carrying, very soon you can find the mobile phone you can fold like a visiting card. Okay, so this is the everything. This future technology talks about the polymers. Okay, now this is I think one of the fascinating thing that I am showing on my screen right now. You can see this is the currency of the Australia. Australia is the first country who have in using the polymers even in their currency. Okay, even in their currency also. So you can understand that if one country started with this kind of initiative, so it will take hardly some time to propagate in other countries as well. Okay, so that is the one more. Now, apart from this, we can knee joint bearing. Some few times ago, Dr. Richa Agarwal was talking about the bioengineering. Now, what is the material that you are going to use in the bioengineering? Okay, remember, material is the material. Material is the basic thing. When we are thinking to design something, when you are planning to engineer something, you have to think about the material. And polymer is the only material which give you the combination of the all the desired properties. It's the combination of all the desired properties. Means you want a material which need to be flexible, which need to be not corroding, which need to be easily processable. You need you need a material which should be a biocompatible. So all these desirable properties you can only have with the polymeric material. Okay, so now you understand that polymers are so useful in any kind of field. Now you can see polymeric in biomedical textile. We are talking about the biomedical textile. I'm not going to explain any one of this. I'm just creating an understanding that how much polymers is inserted in our day-to-day activity and what is the futuristic application we can see very soon with the polymer material. Now, this is again artificial skin. People are talking about the artificial skin, and you can see there are many more applications we found. Okay, that all these things we are going to elaborate in our discussion in the classroom. Okay, now I think this is what one slide will tell you the requirement of the polymer and the polymeric material during the pandemic. I don't need to say any kind of statement for this slide. You understand that everything, even though the mask, now you can say some masks are available with the cotton, but you compare the cost of this. Whenever you are using any kind of cotton mask, it costs up to 20 to 30 to goes up to 100 and 200 rupees. But this polymeric mask is cost only 3 to 5 rupees. You understand what I mean? They're not reusable, I hope, but their cost is affordable. You can see the PPE kit. Everything is come up with the polymers. So even in pandemic, people understand the need of the polymeric material. Now here I would like to mention one more thing. Many of us students like thinking, sir, but people are talking about the use of no plastic. There is a awareness going on the plastic. Sir, I can tell you two factor out of this. People are not aware, we are not uses the maximum potential of the polymeric material. If we understand that what are the things we can do after using one of the plastic, maybe a single-use plastic. I'm not going to talk about the multi-use plastic, but the single-use plastic, if I know that what are the things I can do, we can easily find out some solution to that. Now, this is our lacking. This is our limitations that we are not able to explore up to that much. Okay, now the many research is going on that area also. Now, polymer research in India. Let me see, because we are in India, so we need to discuss that if I at all want to adopt one topic, like you said, polymer and polymeric material. So, what is the current scenario? What is the research going on in the India? So, you can see in the left hand side that broad areas, they are having a broad areas, but people are working on the right hand side, the new areas. And if you see the new areas clearly, it is one thing is very clear that now we are very much application oriented. You can see the polymers in healthcare, nano biocomposites, okay, biopolymers, polymers in fuel cell. So you can see the kind of era, okay, the kind of spectrum where polymers can be used, and all are now we are talking about the specific application, anti-fouling polymers. People are talking in the paint. Okay, solar cell. You can understand their name is self-explanatory, where we can understand that polymers we can use at a particular applications. Now, people are much more on application-oriented research is going on in India. Now, what are the top 14 institute in India who are working more in the polymers? And you can see where IIT Kharagpur at the top. Now, why I'm showing this? I am wanted to show you this is the current trend of the research going on in India. So polymers have a lot of potential in that. Now, what are the areas people working more? Obviously, the polymer composite, and you can see there is an increase in the slope. You can always see there is an increase in the slope. So it is a clear manifestation that the applications or the more amount of research is going on to the polymers. And you understand if some research is going on, obviously there is a demand in the market. That is the reason people are carried out the research. Now, area-wise publication, if I think about, I'm giving you the statistic about 2018. Here also you can see that polymer composite is the dominating. Now, what is polymer composite? Polymer and the inorganic filler. Polymer with graphene, polymer with carbon nanotube. That kind of mixture is known as a polymer composite. Okay. Now I can skip. No, why? I think that is the this slide tell you that why people are so mad about the polymeric material. Look at the field, infrastructure, building, public utility services, agriculture, automotive, packaging industry, everything. Just now, Dibya madam was talking about the vehicle safety. Now, vehicle safety, you wanted to make maybe a safety belt. Now, safety belt, what is the material you are using? It is a polymer again. Any kind of thing, any kind of it, no matter you are in biomedical, you are in construction, you are in agriculture, whatever. As I said, that forget about other things. Where you are sitting right now, you can see the 60% of the thing around you is made of plastic and polymers. Okay, so demand of the polymeric materials going on high and high. So one more thing you can tell me, that people are talking about that plastic have some limitation and so, but can you tell me so far, are we come up with any kind of alternative to the plastic? Still, are you thinking to carry your 5 kg of potato or 2 kg of sugar without the plastic? You cannot carry that vegetables on your on a paper bag. You cannot think about that. You can paper bag have its own limitation. Okay, so now per capita polymer consumption. Here I am showing you the market. Here I am showing you the demand in India. Per capita, you know that is the consumption of plastic per person per year. That is a per capita concept. Now you can see the per capita consumption where North America is far ahead. These are 90 kg. Whereas in India, we are hardly using 5 to 6 kg as of now. So you understand that this kind of demand is going high. If the demand is going high, it means there is a market, there is a scope. Because ultimately, when you are devoting one of the semester on the polymeric material, you obviously looking for something at the end of the semester. Okay, obviously it is going to add some kind of flavor to my biodata so that I can apply for some of the industries. In fact, I would like to show you the industries where you can think that there is a job aspect. You can see the growth sector: automobile, retailing, agriculture, infrastructure, aerospace, defense, everything. And you can see the growth. You can see the growth worldwide. You can see that keep on, and this is limited to certain year. That is my limitation, that I am showing up to 2020. If I goes up to 2022, you can see there is a much more increase in the slope. Now, uses of plastic sector wise, maximum plastic we are using in the packaging area. You can see that is the area we are using, the packaging area. Now I can tell you one more thing, that we have a MOU with the Indian Institute of Packaging, where I can show you that how the plastic or the polymers that you are using in IIP in Andheri. So we can plan for an internship during the course, or we can plan for a visit to the IIP. So there are so many things possible. I'm not going into the details. As I said, there is a constraint of time, and I understand people are sitting from the morning. Now, these are the key players. These are the key players. Remember, due to the limitations of my screen, I have only focused on those companies where we are familiar. Many of you don't know the many names I am showing on the left hand side. You might know the name of SABIC. SABIC is the Saudi Arabia company. So, recently, we had a conference in our college. Okay, we are arranging the polymer conference from last 4 years. Okay, either in online or offline mode. Okay, just in the 15th of October, we had a very good conference in our college. Many of you know that, where the people from SABIC, people from Reliance, people from IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Guwahati, IIC Bangalore, many other companies. So they all came, and you understand that these people are coming. They are talking about the polymers. It means there is a demand. Dow is another bigger. BSF is also one of the key players. Basically, let me tell you one more thing. BSF is the world largest chemical company, and they have their one of the R&D in Thane. So Mitsubishi, there are many more, and the companies on the right hand side: Reliance, Astrals, that Syntex, Nilkamal, Supreme, and they are the pioneer in the field of polymers. There are many more companies are there. Okay, I have to call only few names. So these are all are the major recruiter you can think about if you think of the polymeric material. Now, at the end, I would like to tell you the topics. That topics I have roughly, this is a tentative syllabus that I am showing you the topics. They are not limited to this. We can talk about the basic understanding of the polymer aspect. We can talk about the polymer blends, polymer composite, characterization technique. I may add one or two topic more. And as a reference, I have given some of the books, but this is too early to know the name of the books. First, we have to make our mind that whether, yes, I'm looking for a subject where I can find something in the future. Okay, so with this, I would like to conclude, and thank you very much to listening to me. And this is my email ID. It is mentioned here, and feel free to contact me anytime. Okay, if required. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Panda sir, for giving wonderful presentation on polymers and polymetric materials and their applications.
Okay.
Now, students, now we left with one presentation about the computational physics. Now, I once again request Hunter sir to please take over and start presentation. Sir is having some technical issues, so please wait for some time. Sir will join.
Not write analytical theory for some problems. Here only what you get is a help of computers. Now, as you must be learning, at least computer people, that artificial intelligence and machine learning, those are thriving because huge data is available that can be statistically analyzed. Okay, so computational physics, basically the underline is creating statistical data which is related to physics or physical processes or physical instrument experiment. Okay, so for that you must be learning in the beginning some statistics related to physics. So that is called as statistical physics. So first unit is basically learning some statistical physics. Part of the statistical physics students have learned in first year also, so it won't be very new to them. Okay, by the way, being computational physics is not restricted to only computer people. It is open to all the branches. You don't need very high level learning in computers or even in physics. Okay, but the application wise, you can go up to any extent nowadays. So first unit is just statistical physics, some introduction. Second unit is actual computational methods. One of them is Monte Carlo simulation. Another is molecular dynamics. Now, Monte Carlo simulation you can use, or application, it can be anything practically, right? From physics, chemistry, biology, even stock market also, banking application also. So Monte Carlo is quite versatile. Okay, you can go to any application arena to use Monte Carlo simulation. It is just random statistical sampling of data. Okay, but it has to go through some rules which are coming through the statistics and the processes in physics or the system under consideration. Okay, so you'll be doing some Monte Carlo simulation starting from very simple things, okay, to understand the concept. But what is it? You need some knowledge of good random number generators, which we'll be learning. Okay, that is first thing. The second thing is when we are learning about molecular dynamics. In molecular dynamics, it is different from the Monte Carlo simulation. Molecular dynamics mostly restricted to physics, chemistry, and biology. But again, it can go to very deep inside all these three sciences. Okay, now you can easily go to pharmaceutical sciences also. Okay, if you know, nowadays medicines are not made in the labs. Medicines are made on computer first. Then they are tested in the labs, because we know molecular interactions of all the most of the medicines. Which medicine molecule will act or react with other medicine molecule in what way? Okay, or how it will interact with proteins which are inside our body in what way? Okay, so computer simulation is very much useful in pharmaceutical industry nowadays. If you are asking me what are the industrial applications, yes, there are a lot. So at the heart of molecular dynamics, it's very simple. What you need is Newton's second law. Okay, so you have to move molecules with respect to each other and move them according to Newton's second law, F equal to m, as simple as that. And then you need how two molecules interact. What is the interaction between two molecules? Whether there is electrical interaction, means Coulomb interaction, or some other van der Waals type interaction, or so. But motion is according to Newton's second law, as simple as that. You can make it hierarchically complicated, but at the base, it is Newton's second law. Okay, and now you can apply molecular dynamics to many places. One thing is pharmaceutical sciences, I have told. The latest I can tell you, which was widely used in last 2 years, okay, in pandemics, how that COVID virus, okay, COVID virus can go inside the cell of our body. How basically what it does, it punctures the cell of human body and enters itself inside. Once we know the mechanism, the way virus enters, we can synthesize a medicine molecule and use same mechanism to make an entry for medicine molecule to go inside and fight. Okay, so this is called as polymer translocation. Okay, basically proteins are polymers. If you know, the body of this virus was RNA. Okay, even slightly simpler than DNA, but it is again a polymer. So the method known, which is based on molecular dynamics of polymer translocation, is widely used in last many years. Okay, so this is one of the forefront applications you can say of molecular dynamics, which is computational physics on broad level. Okay, so these are basically crux of the matter which I have just told you. And then what we are going to do in the end, okay, that we'll try to use some modern computational methods. For example, see, more the data and more the number crunching power of the machine, better is the estimate. It's as simple as that. So if time permits, we can go for modern use of architectures like parallel computing, distributed computing. Even we can have access to supercomputer, then we will learn that also, but that is almost at the end. So in first 3 parts, we'll be learning basic theory needed for computational physics, that is statistical physics. And then major 2 chapters, next modules, which are big one is Monte Carlo simulation and another is molecular dynamics. Okay, now where the scope is, once you have taken this option, scope is in many places. Okay, as I have mentioned, nowadays pharmaceutical industry needs computer simulation specialists. Then many of the scientific labs, they need computer simulation specialists, whether the lab is working in material science or whether the lab is working in astrophysics and cosmology. Okay, everybody needs computer simulation nowadays. So range is very vast, and these labs are there all over India and all over the world also. Okay, and then if you consider Monte Carlo simulation, then opportunities are still more, not related to just science, but you can go to even banks, okay, stock markets, because they somehow follow the rules being used in physics, okay, which has a random sampling. Random sampling is applicable to almost every other system around us. Okay, whether it is bank, whether it is science, whether it is language, what happens to the crowd when there is a stampede, everything can be modeled using laws of random sampling. Okay, so these things are useful in many places. Okay, so with this short thing, I think I should stop here. If anybody is interested, you can mail me at mkhankar@mes.ac.in, or you just meet me in the physics lab, which I think everybody knows. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khankar sir,
Okay.
Though your presentation
Thank
is not there, but still, when you explain your concepts, we are visualizing what concepts you are talking about. So thank you, sir, for the giving talk about this computational physics.
Okay.
Now, students, soon our college is going to share the form related to this ILOC, and compulsory you have to fill this form before the deadline.
Yes.
So if you have any doubt, you can again contact with the respective professors. So once again, I'll just make a list. So initially, the presentation began with Dr. Kambuskar sir. He gave a presentation about the product design. Then Arun sir talk about the entrepreneurship. Avinash sir talk about the maintenance of electronic equipment. Then IPR and patenting discussed by Dr. P.S. Lokhande sir. Dr. Risha Agarwal gave presentation about the introduction to bioengineering. Malvika madam talk about the visual arts subject and journalism, media and communication studies. After that, Diva madam gave presentation about the vehicle safety. Then Panda sir talk about the polymers and polymetric materials, and last Khankar sir talk about the computational
Yogesh
physics.
sir, just one thing. Obviously, there will be practical sessions about this course.
Yes.
There will
Sorry,
be
sir?
practical sessions in this computational physics course, not just theory, because we have to do practical side by side. I think I forgot to mention.
Fine, sir. Fine.
Okay. So I think this is all about the ILOC presentation. So I would like to thank all the HODs, principal sir, for arranging this ILOC presentation for the students. And I also would like to thank all the speakers who prepared their presentation in this time, because all are busy with their practicals and Viva exams. And last, thank you to the students for patiently listening entire seminar. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Last but not
Ma'am,
the
should I
least,
close this
we would
meeting?
like to thank Yogesh sir for being here and organizing and conducting this orientation program very smoothly. Thanks to you, Yogesh sir.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Should I
Yeah,
end this
please
meet for
end.
all, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.